I'm Michael A.C. Maynard and welcome to the Christian Business Conversation. This is a short series of videos. I want to use my experience and where God has taken me from to hopefully impact you. But before we get there, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been in business just over 12 years now. Been a Christian for probably about 20 years. And over the last, few years of being in business, God has really pulled on me and tugged on me to help others in His kingdom. So that's what I want to do through this series of shows. We have a conversation. So I share some of my things, and any questions or anything you can email me and I'll do my best to answer them. So what's this one about? We're going to start by saying this is called the calling. And let me tell you what I mean by that. You know, if you're a Christian and you're in church, you understand what it means to be called. We've all heard it, called to be a prophet, called to be an evangelist, and all these other things. But there are many people that are sitting on the pews in church that are called to be businessmen and women. And you don't necessarily hear about that calling because it's maybe not in the Bible. It doesn't specifically say it. But just like in Jeremiah 1, when God said to Jeremiah, I knew you before you were born, He says the same thing to you. And what He's actually saying is that He called you to operate in business before you were born. Now, if you think about it as a jigsaw puzzle, because many of you say, well, how can that be me? But if you look at a jigsaw puzzle, every piece has its place. And so your place is connected to something else which makes that part of the whole picture. And so, why not you? Let's talk about the calling. As I said, in Jeremiah 1, God called Jeremiah to be a prophet. So I'm going to challenge you and say that God is calling you today to be in business. Now, not everybody's going to understand this because not everyone's called to do it. But for those who are called to do it, now is the time for you to start to look and to think about yourself as a business person. Now, I don't want to come across, obviously, just all up in the air and we're just thinking, oh, you know, sometimes we get in church, we get a word and we get excited about it. Business is very much about doing. It's very much being about active. And you can't just find your way into it. You know, there are steps and principles that you need to abide by. So I'm going to challenge you at this point, at the beginning of this new year, to start to think about getting into business. Now, we're in a time where, you know, we've heard so many different things that, you know, it's hard, there's no funding about and all of that. But it's easy that when we believe that God says the cattle of 1,000 hills are His. We quote that in church and we're happy to believe those things. But yet when it comes to us, sometimes we don't necessarily believe that, you know, or we don't apply it in our own life. So let's get something out in the open. The resources for your business, the money for your business is somewhere. It's set aside for you. And if you get that in your mind as a principle first, that God has provided for your business even before you began it, then you're halfway there. What I want you to do though is something very practical. I want you to actually write down some ideas. And I want you to look at those ideas on the paper and I want you to pray over them. Think, if I was to get into business, what could I actually do? What could God be telling me? What idea maybe has been in my heart? A good place to start is your passion. If you're passionate about something, you're going to do it well. And when things get tough, you're going to continue to do it. So what are you passionate about? What's always been a joy of yours? What's always tugged at your heart? Or you thought, well, if I could do that, then, you know, I'll open up a business in this. And, you know, sometimes you can talk to people and you see that glint in their eye or that smile and they're thinking, gosh, you know, my dream business would be this. Because it starts with that idea. So I want you to think about this first of all. Think about what you're passionate about and then just think, could I make that into a business? Is it viable? Second, once you've got that idea, I want you to think about the knowledge. Do you have the knowledge to do that business? Being a Christian and getting a word doesn't shortcut knowledge. You still need to gain the knowledge in order to make your business successful. So start to think, have I got knowledge in that area? And if I don't, how can I get that knowledge? That's your next step. Think about the knowledge and think about what you need to do to get it. Finally, the third thing that I want to bring out, once you have an idea and you have a knowledge, you need to think about how could I get there? And, you know, planning is a massive topic, so I only want to touch on it a little bit, but what I want to say is start to write down, just really quite random, nothing detailed, just some high-level steps, goals even. So if I was going to be in my business in 5 years' time, what steps could I take to get there? So, 3 things, let's just reiterate. Idea, knowledge, and start to plan. I want to set that as a challenge for you. I'm not telling you to get into business yet, just to start to think about it and to pray about it. And you'll be surprised what God can do and how he can expand your mind. Finally, let me leave you with a scripture. The Bible says that he is able to do more, exceedingly abundantly, far beyond you could ever ask or think. That's more than you can imagine, more than you can dream of, according to the power that's in you. Hope to see you soon. Talk to you next time.